Today's number, 400,000. That's how many cards went through this operation in the month of June. We set ourselves up strong with the goal at the beginning of the month of 500,000 cards. We came up 20% short, but a 33% month over month growth. Well, it's Friday. We're going to go over numbers, and one of those big important numbers was the 33% growth. I don't have any positive numbers in terms of sales because we didn't make any this week. We shut down the TCG player. The eBay is not running, and we haven't dealt with our bulk buyer yet, so there's nothing coming in. But we're seeing immense amount of growth in our inventory, immense amount of growth in our operational capability. I also want to talk today about why in this business you're always going to be buying and why you want to be the person that's known as somebody who they can trust and who says yes, who finds a way to yes. That is so important in business and in life in general. But before I get to that, my name is Ryan, and I started a TCG business with over $1 million in debt. I'm here to turn cardboard into cash and move from dire straits into distro. Every day I go over the ups and downs of growing a TCG business and what I accomplished on the previous day. Now, what it means to truly be always buying. I got to tell you, if you don't have the cash, don't go into debt. I'm already in debt. There's no reason for that. But if you have the capability, if you can find a way, whether it's through trade or partnerships or whatever, find the way to yes, because one yes now means a second yes from the same person down the line. It also means they're going to share their experience that you provided value, and they're going to be somebody who is an evangelical for you, who proselytize for you, who will say, Ryan will find a way, AVA TCG will find a way to make your deal, your lot, your whatever, your bulk work for you. And so today that happened in two different ways. In the morning, one of my best friends in this industry, one of the people I love working with, we were texting and we were just saying, hey, how much do you need today? And I kind of just threw it out there as like do you need something? Can I get you a little liquid right now? Because you seem like maybe you could use a little liquidity right now. He's like, actually, yeah. And I said, okay, I'll put together a box. Found about $400 to $500 worth of materials, told him as much. Well, right before he came over, he doesn't live far. He said, curveball, what if I traded you for this? I said, well, I was just going to put it on your ledger, so it doesn't matter to me how you get it to me. It was a PSA 10 Psyduck Cosmo Hollow. I love Psyduck. I love this particular Cosmo Hollow, and I love that I could get it in a PSA 10 in a way that I don't have to worry about. I don't have to wait, 9 months for it to come back, and I get it right away. They're also going for about $400 or $500, so it was a perfect trade. It was a perfect trade. It happened in about 5 minutes. As always with this particular person, he knows how I think, I know how he thinks, and we know that we're going to do a good deal together. Now, while that was easy, what he was able to then do was take all of that inventory and make it more liquid in his way. Some of that's ripping, and he finds great cards. Today he got a gold card, which is amazing, and then he was able to sell that and recapitalize it into something else. I got to tell you guys, how he moves is so fun to watch. It's like watching an Olympian in this, right? My way is a little different, but because I have access to somebody who moves differently than I do, where he zigs and I zag, we don't get into each other's spaces, but we help each other out. The other thing that this came into play was I have a friend on the server, kind of need to get a little bit more liquid himself. And I told him straight up, I do not have as much money on hand. I do, but it's pre-spent, if you will, that I could take care of this lot myself right now. But what I can do is take it on for you, get you paid out. We will come to an agreement on what this lot is worth. We will come to an agreement on how much you want to get paid. And then in doing so, I'll find a way to make that happen. Well, unironically, the first person that I talked to this morning and the second person that I talked to this morning are linked, even though they may not always know it. I'm going to use the access that I have with the first person and the multiple ways in which he can deal in business to make sure I help the second person. And even though I will be doing some of that effort, I won't be doing all of it. But the truth of the matter is that doesn't matter to either person. On the front end, the person that's going to help me move for the second person is already getting ahead a little bit themselves. It helps them look good to others. I'm going to make it hopefully profitable for them as well. And then for the second person, they're getting exactly what they needed, liquidity without all the effort. So by next week, my promise to them was that no matter what, even if it comes out of my own pocket, I will make sure to get them at least half of what they've asked for. That will happen no matter what. But I know that me and the first person, the person I work with a lot, we're going to get this done probably in a week or less. Now, we took in the 400,000 cards. I will tell you, it's impressive to me because it took a lot to get done. At around 5 cents value, that means per average per card, that's about $20,000 in total value. $20,000 in value for bulk that was spent this month in 1 month alone, not even a full month, 26 days. It's a lot of cardboard. It's a lot of capital. Now, I didn't spend $20,000. I spent under $20,000 for sure, maybe around 10, right? But it was inventory I'd been sitting on, some of which had grown, a lot of which had, some of which was just stagnant, but it just started to grow. Either way, I'm ahead in certain ways. My members are ahead in other ways. $20,000 worth of value into community for bulk that they weren't doing anything with in the first place, where they get some of the best rates in our industry, especially locally. That's a win-win for me. Now, they got what they wanted in terms of material good for their bulk. I got the bulk that I can then move in different ways and get paid out on cash position. 75% of all cards that came in went to bricks. Now, I have not dealt with my brick buyer, even though I was hoping to deal with them this week. We're going to meet sometime in July. But I am going to count for how many cards we have bulked out as a part of the operation this month and tally that out. Now, I will tell you, my estimation is about 75% of all cards that go through that bulk machine. So 75% of 400,000 ends up in a brick. That means 10% is roughly for playables and 15% on average goes to the eBay store. Those numbers are huge when you consider how much that the playables are able to position themselves. I think we made about $1,000 of pure profit and a little under $2,000 in revenue in the month of June. Now, one of the things that I think trips people up is that doesn't seem like a lot. Well, it's not always a lot, right? I mean, realistically, the month of June, I made $2,000, right? If you estimated an hourly rate, I'm making, I don't know, $12 an hour, but that's not the true hourly rate when you take into account all of the inventory that we have to list, to move, and just the operation in the future. I will tell you that when those bricks get paid out, it will probably be a $10,000 to $15,000 recapitalization. But remember, we gave about $20,000 worth of value, right? So there's pluses and minuses to this. You got to be sure that you are able to work within, I call it dancing between the raindrops. You got to be sure that you're capable of that you're understanding the risk profile, that you're willing to extend a little further than some others. That again, when you say yes, you have the ability to say yes. Now, this month, our way of saying yes was to bring on not one, but two masons. In those two masons, we're going to spend probably $1,000 worth of trade material in the month of June. That's huge. But you know what it did? It freed me up to do so many other things. Don't be afraid to spend where it makes sense to spend. Find deals that make sense for people to work with you, whether that's cash, employment, 1099, or trade in kind. It does not matter. They have sorted, labeled, they do QC, they categorize things for eBay, they build out the bricks for the operation that fund the whole operation. $1,000 worth of materials to cover that in what was roughly a week's worth of work. That may feel like a lot. It may just depend on where you are in your position. But for me, that was about scaling. Their output will compound. It also means that they're training themselves, right? Every time that they do this, they get better at it. They get stronger at it. They get faster at it, which means I don't have a single unit of output. I have multiple units of output, even if it's from the same person. Now, our buyer, like I said, couldn't make it this month. We'll be meeting sometime next month. And I suspect just from June, we'll end up, like I said, well over the 10, maybe even to the $15,000 range. From June's lot, it should be over $10,000 in recapitalization. That's cash back in pocket, guys. Now, I can tell you that's probably going to net me long-term about $1,000. When you take the $1,000 in profit from the bricks and $1,000 in profit, net, true profit from a TCG player, $2,000 in profit for the month, but I'm not out anything either. That's a win. That's a total win. On top of all the inventory gain, I will take that. I will also say yesterday, as we go over the three things that we did in yesterday's part of the business, we launched our partnership with Beltway. In a single day, the community grew by almost 50 people. It's been an amazing turnaround. We ran 2 more bricks last night as proof of concept to show to others. We also hit an IP concern on the product that we built, the little play mat. I don't know why, but that play mat for manual sifters may be something that was on there. The company I was working with flagged it for IP. We'll work in this space to figure out, we'll pause and see how to do it so that it doesn't flag for IP. Everything is about scaling, but doing it legally and genuinely so that we have a good product, but it's done right. From today's pop-up, we got about another 50,000 cards to process that weren't in the earlier count, but are now part of this June month. We're pressing through to scan all of these cards starting this weekend to the eBay store. And we want to make sure that we're ready to launch on the 4th of July. We'll keep pushing so that scans every day are happening and that we are locked in. So our first show on the Beltway with the Beltway team for July 25th, which happens to be my birthday, is ready to also be a part of our journey in July. Now, I'm going to hold in July that we're at a 500,000 goal. Until we meet that goal, that is going to be the goal. We're also launching AVA TCG on July 4th. We've talked a little bit about this. What that really means is our sealed is going to be on there, and people who want to, lock in trades either for bulk or just pay cash for the materials, whether it be a perfect order booster box or a Phantasmal Flames ETB or whatever. You'll be able to do that with AVA TCG and support me directly. Now, if you want to use bulk for that, we'll be finding our ways to doing a credit system so that we can either, deliver or manually, take it off the site so that I can meet with a person if they're local. However that works, it'll be the location that says this is what we have in store. I'm very much looking forward to that. I'm also looking forward to moving towards full capacity. Our first Mason is back from vacation as of this week. Our bulk partner in crime is back from vacation after this weekend. And our second Mason is leaving on Tuesday, but comes back after the 4th of July stretch. That's more operating expense, but it also means more operating power as we push towards that $500,000 card goal in July. We grew 33% in the month of June. 400,000 cards is a lot. I'm very proud, like I said at the beginning. It puts us that much closer to our monthly target. And now the connections we're looking to build with local TCG stores, local LCSs, as a part of that space is how I think we'll get there to the 500K mark. Goals are meant to be achievable. We didn't hit 500,000, but that's not the same as a failure. It's simply an opportunity for success moving forward. As always, be good or be good at it. And thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.